Hello each and everyone, this is Ankita, your commerce educator, welcoming you to Global Online where we are taking classes for NET and SET exam preparation. In today's lecture, I am going to discuss 10 most important or a most accepted MCQ on FDI and BOP, that is balance of payment from the business environment and international business. ये लेक्चर देखने के बाद आपके जो सारे डाउट है रिलेटेड टू दिस टॉपिक वो सारे के सारे क्लियर हो जाएंगे और आपको ये भी पता चल जाएगा कि एग्जाम में किस तरह के क्वेश्चन पूछे जाते हैं. ओके ये लेक्चर देखने के बाद अगर आपके जो सारे डाउट है वो क्लियर हुए या नहीं ये देखने के लिए हम आपके लिए लेकर आए हैं फ्री इवैल्यूएशन टेस्ट. ये टेस्ट देने के लिए आपको हमारा जो ऐप है ग्लोबल ऑनलाइन वो अपने प्ले स्टोर से डाउनलोड करना पड़ेगा, जहां पर आपको ये लोगो दिखेगा. डाउनलोड करने के बाद आपको उसके स्टोर में जाना है और अपना जो पेपर है यूजीसी नेट कॉमर्स पेपर 2 वो सिलेक्ट करना है. सिलेक्ट करने के बाद उसके कंटेंट में जाना है और कंटेंट में जाने के बाद आपको जो टेस्ट है वो मिल जाएगा. ये जो टेस्ट है वो सभी स्टूडेंट के लिए फ्री है. ओके और एक इम्पॉर्टेंट बात, ग्लोबल ऑनलाइन आपके लिए लेकर आया है कॉमर्स पेपर 2 कोर्स, जहां पर आपको मिलेंगे कंप्लीट वीडियो लेक्चर, मोर देन 100 वीडियो लेक्चर्स वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग यू, नोट्स वो भी डिटेल एक्सप्लेनेशन के साथ, टेस्ट सीरीज विद द डिटेल एक्सप्लेनेशन, प्रीवियस ईयर पीडीएफ विद द डिटेल एक्सप्लेनेशन. द ड्यूरेशन ऑफ द कोर्स इज 1 ईयर और इसकी जो फी है वो इंक्रीज हो गई है और वो अब है 7,000. अगर आप ये कोर्स लेते हैं तो पेपर 1 का जो कोर्स है वो आपको हम फ्री में प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं. डोंट वेट फॉर द लास्ट मोमेंट, डू ज्वाइन अवर कोर्स एंड क्लियर योर अपकमिंग एग्जाम. Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, that is MIGA. In this question they ask you about the MIGA and the options given are: it is a sister institute of World Bank, is an insurance agency of US government. Third option is a part of Asian Development Bank, and the last is the sister institution of International Development Agency. To answer this question you have to understand what is Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. So here MIGA is an international institute that promote the investment in developing country by offering the political and economic risk insurance. By promoting the foreign direct investment developing country into the developing country, the agency aim to support the economic growth, reduce the poverty and improve the people's life. Okay. So here the first option is a sister institute of the World Bank. The World Bank group consists of 5 institutional arms. The first 2, that is IBRT and IDA, together make the World Bank. Okay. The other 3 are MIGA, IFC and ICSID are the sister organization that supports the bank activity through the specific program. Second is about the insurance agency of the US government. Insurance in the United States refer to the market for a risk in the United States, the world's largest insurance market by premium value. Third is Asian Bank Development. The Asian Bank Development is a regional development bank established on the 19 December 1966. Is a headquarter in the Ortigas Center located in the city of Metro Manila, Philippines. Third is Sister Institute, part of Asian Development Bank, which I explain you, and the last is a sister institute of International Development Agency. The IDA is a member of World Bank Group and a headquarter in the Washington DC in the United States. It is established in 1960 to complement the existing international bank for recommendation and reconstruction and development by lending to developing countries which suffer from the lowest gross national income. Here the correct answer for this question is option number A. The Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency is a sister institute of the World Bank. The next question here is, as per the recent FDI policy, 100% investment through the automatic route is not allowed in. So here in this question they ask you about the FDI policy, and they ask you given which is not allowed the 100% investment through the automatic route. For this the first option is petroleum refining by the PSUs. So according to the existing FDI policy, up to the 49% of a FDI is a permissible through the automatic route in the petroleum refining PSU without any disinvestment or dilution of domestic equity in the existing PSU by the government. However, policy allow the 100% FDI through the automatic route in the petroleum refining in the private sector. Okay. Second option is oil and natural gas exposure. The Department for a Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade on the issued and the executive order to allow the 100% foreign direct investment under the automatic route for a oil and gas PSU in case the in principle approval for a strategic disinvestment has been approved by the government. Third is mining and mineral. As per the present FDI policy, 100% FDI under the automatic route is allowed for coal and lignite mining for captive consumption by the power project, iron and steel and cement unit and other eligible activity permitted under and subject to the applicable law and regulation. And the last option is none of the above. The answer here for this question is option number A. As per the recent FDI policy, 100% investment through the automatic route is not allowed in the petroleum refining by the PSU. The next question here is which of the following is not a method under the foreign direct investment? So here what is foreign direct investment? Foreign direct investment is when the investor living in the one country invest in the business based in the another country. Okay, that is called a foreign direct investment. Under the FDI, the foreign direct investor or an individual or a business own the 10% of the company where the investment is being made. Okay. For this, the first option is wholly owned subsidiary. Here the wholly owned subsidiary is a company whose common stock is 100% owned by the parent company. Wholly owned subsidiary allow the parent company to diversify, manage and possibly reduce its risk. Second is joint venture. Joint venture, that is JV, is a business entity created by a two or more party, generally characterized by share the ownership, shares return and risk and share the governance. Third is global depository receipt. Global depository receipt, that is GDR, is a general name for a depository receipt where the certificate issued by the depository bank which purchases the share of a foreign company create a security on a local exchange backed by those shares. And the last option is acquisition. And the acquisition is when one company purchases the most or all of the another company's share to gain the control of that company. That time we say that it is an acquisition. Purchasing more than the 50% of the target firm stock and other asset allow the acquirer to make a decision about a newly acquired asset without the approval. So this is the concept of the four options. I hope all these options are clear to you. The answer for this question is option number C, that is global depository receipt. Which of this is not an objective of protectionist trade strategy? Here they ask you about the objective of protectionist trade strategy. Now what is protectionist trade strategy? It allows the government of a country to promote the domestic producer and thereby boost the domestic production of goods and services. Gross domestic product, that is GDP. Gross domestic product is a standard measure of the country's economic health and the indicator of its standard of living. For this, the first option is protection of domestic industry. Second option is promoting indigenous research and development. Third is protecting right of the nation. And the last is conservation of the foreign exchange reserves. Okay. Here the important objective of protectionism is the infide industry, then is diversification, then is improving the term of the trade and improving the balance of the payment. Okay. The answer here for this question is option number C, that is protecting right of the nation is not an objective of protectionist trade strategy. Other three, that is protection of domestic industry, promoting indigenous research and development and conservation of the foreign exchange reserve are the objective of protectionist trade strategy. In this question they given you two statements. The statement 1 is the balance of a trade record the export and import of only the visible good. And the second is it comprises of the balance of the trade. For this the options given are only X is correct, second is only Y is correct, third is both the X and Y are incorrect, and the last is both the X and Y are correct. Here the balance of trade refer to the export and import of the visible item, that is material good. It is a difference between the value of visible export and import. Visible item are those items which are recorded in the custom written. For example, material good exported and imported. That means the answer for this question is option number D, that is both the statement given are correct. Here there are two statements. The statement 1 is Mexico is the member of NAFTA, and second statement is NAFTA started functioning from the 1st January 1994. And the options given are only X is true, second is only Y is true, third is both X and Y are true, and the last is both the X and the Y are false. The what is meaning of a NAFTA? NAFTA means a North American Free Trade Agreement, was an agreement signed by the Canada, Mexico and the United States. Please remember the country's name, that is Canada, Mexico and the United States, because you received the question on this. Okay, that created a trilateral trade bloc in the North America. The agreement came into the force on 1st January 1994. The correct answer here is option number C, that is both the statements given are true. The next question here is UNCTAD means the United Nations Conference on the Trade and Development is established by the United Nations General Assembly in when and it was its headquarters at where. So here they ask you about the United Nations Conference on the Trade and the Development. Okay, and for this the options given are 1964 Geneva, second option is 1965 New York, third option is 1964 Paris, and the last option is 1965 Geneva. The United Nations Conference on the Trade and the Development was established in 1964 as a permanent intergovernmental body and its headquarters location at Geneva, Switzerland. As per the explanation, the answer for this question will be option number A, that is 1964, and the headquarters is at the Geneva, Switzerland. Which of the following is not an argument in the favor of free trade? In this question they ask you, given which is not the argument in the favor of free trade. For this the options given are economic utilization of the world protective resources, second is division of labor on an international scale, third is break the domestic monopolies, and last is conservation of foreign exchange of the country. Here what is a free trade agreement? Free trade agreement is a pact between the two or more nations to reduce the barrier to import and export among them. Under the free trade policy, goods and services can be bought and sold across the international border with the little or no government tariff, quotas, subsidies or a prohibition to inhibit their exchange. The correct answer here is option number D, that is conservation of the foreign exchange of the country is not an argument in the favor of free trade. Okay. The next question here is, which of the following is not a demerit of MNC? Here they ask you about a demerit of the MNC. Now what is a MNC? MNC is a multinational company, is a corporate organization that own and control the production of goods and services in at least one country other than its home country. Control is considered an important aspect of the MNC to distinguish from the international portfolio investment organization, such as some international mutual fund that invest in the corporation abroad simply to diversify the financial risk. For this, the first option given here is MNC may destroy the competition and acquire the monopoly powers. Second is MNC retard the growth of employment in the home country. Third is MNC provide a means of integrating national economy. And the last is through the transfer pricing MNC avoid the tax in the home country. So here the some of the demerit of a MNC are problem of the technology. Then will be the political interference, then is a self-interest, then is the outflow of the foreign exchange. MNC provide means of integrating national economy is not a demerit of the MNC. So the answer here for this question is option number C. Which of the following is not a form of a counter trade? Okay. So in this question they ask you given which is not a counter trade. For this the first option is buyback. Now what is a buyback? Buyback is a counter trade occurs when the firm build a manufacturing facility in the country or supply technology, equipment, training or other services to the country and agree to take a certain percentage of the plant output as a partial payment for the contract. Then is compensation ideal. Compensation trade require company to provide the machinery, factories or a technology and to buy the product made from this machinery over a agreed on period. Third is counter purchase. Now counter purchase involve the two separate transactions, each with its own cash value. Buyer pay with the hard currency whereas the supplier agree to buy a certain product within the specified period. And the last is purchase on the credit. It's simply termed when the organization or a customer purchase the good from the seller or a supplier and agree to pay the consideration or a value of that product of the goods on the same future date. Then it is called a credit purchase. Okay. Whenever the credit purchase take place, the account payable will be the secondary creditor is a credited. So the purchase on the credit is not a form of a counter trade. This is the last question for today's lecture which you have to answer. The question is balance of a trade, balance the export and import of what trade of the country. For this the options given are invisible, second is merchandise, third is industrial and the last is the agricultural. Okay, please answer this question. Write your answer in the comment box. I will explain this question in my tomorrow's lecture. Till then, keep watching, keep learning.